So, since we also started to talk about the recording, there's actually also one more topic I want to address before we get into the first topic. I think most of you have already registered, but it's also very important for us and the project documentation that everyone who is participating today has signed up via the teleform. We provided upfront. Luca will also send the link now again if in any case you manage to get into the meeting without signing up beforehand. And then as Luca mentioned, we will have the recording of the first part actually only so that this can be made present for all others from the project internally as well. I think it's very interesting insights and also approaches and also to give the chance to disseminate those approaches further. The recording will be performed. So if you have any doubts about being in the picture or being recorded, I would recommend to turn off the camera then once the session starts. And also, if you have not signed up yet, I would need to say keep the meeting if you do not want to be part of the session in general, so that we are all GDPR compliant here. And that's about this. Now we can start with the fun part and get into the details and the further inspirational parts. So let's jump to the first part. Our inspiration is in the soil literacy exhibition. Here we will have 4 different speakers who present very interesting parts and pieces on soil literacy. First, we will have insights into the Living Soils workshop that was also created as part of the Soil Tribes project by Juliana. And then afterwards, there will be the second topic on the Soil Curiosity Kit from the Curious Soil project from Javier. And the third topic will be the best practice catalog developed as part of the Soilscape project from Titiana. And last but not least, there's the fourth topic from Haley and Alina on creative probes for fostering soil literacy. Each sub-session here will take 15 minutes. It will be partly interactive as well. So feel free to also engage where possible. And then there will also be the chance to potentially ask questions as part of each topic separately. But this is also then part of the session itself. And in general, if you have questions, feel free to raise your hand or put it into the chat so that we can inform the speaker. Or if there's no time in the end, we can also then redirect you afterwards to the speaker. And with that, I'd say we can kick off the exhibition so that we get even 5 minutes more time than expected today to look into the 4 topics, starting with the first topic of Living Soils workshop and with Juliana. Handing over to you, Juliana.
Hi, Yannick. Hi, everyone. Can you see my camera? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Let me maybe share my screen. Just 1 second. Where is this? I will maybe have to share on my screen. Okay, you will see a screen in Spanish because I'm half French, half Colombian. Okay, can you see my PowerPoint?
Actually, I cannot see it.
You cannot. Ooh. Okay, let's do this differently. Then thank God you gave us 5 extra minutes, Yannick.
I can also check if in worst case I take over the screen sharing. I check.
Well, you could try that also. But it's fine. I think I will just do something less ideal, but should be okay. Let me then share.
If you like, I can also
This.
do this.
Okay. I think now you see my screen, right?
Now it's loading, yeah.
It's loading, yeah.
Now it's good. No?
It's still back. There it is. Yeah, now we can see it.
Okay. Okay, let's go ahead then. Hello again, everyone. My name is Juliana, and I represent the Living Soils Workshop. It's a French non-for-profit organization that's very active in European projects. So we currently participate in soil tribes, which many of you probably know, but we also participate in Erasmus projects, and we're super open actually to continue progressing in EU-funded programs. So don't hesitate to reach out to me if you are interested in our methodology. So this is a very outdated photo of me, but my role within the organization is to create partnerships and to apply basically to funding. So I am your person if you are also looking for that. Before presenting the actual way of functioning of our organization, let's do a quick quiz. So maybe Yannick, could you support me with the chat since I won't be able to do the Kahoot, but simply just reading like some of the answers which people could write. So if you're okay with that, you can write your answer in the chat. For the first question, what do all living organisms, so plants, animals, fungi, bacteria, need to live? So what you see in the screen is actually the drawings that we put in the cards. The Living Soils Workshop is a workshop, and what we do is that we play. It's a serious game. We play with cards. Some of those cards are here on the screen. So there's one card about plants, another one about soil fauna, another one about fungi, another one about bacteria. So the question again is, what do all living organisms need to live? Do we have a couple of answers?
Yeah, I see phosphorus, water, nutrients, light, water, oxygen so far popping up. One more water.
Okay. Good. Let's look at the slide afterwards. So you see here complementary information, right? You see water, yes. You see bacteria, you see many other actors, right? Like air, dead organic matter, mineral nutrients. So here you have the answer, which unfortunately is not in the best format because of the format here on Google. But what all living beings need, super basic, is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphor. Phosphorus, I think you say in English. Those are the super basic things. Let's call it things, but of course, material. All living organisms live, right? Like that's the basis of their existence. But there's also the interaction between them, right? Between all these living organisms and then all the actors in between. So what is the influence of the sun in the plants, of the air in the plants, of the bacteria in the organic matter, of nutrients for plants, of animals that then create the organic matter, etc. So in our workshop, we not only present what interacts in the soil, we also present the complementarities and the way of subsistence of all these actors. So this is part of our workshop. But we also talk about human activities. So how does human men. I mean, how does a human being interact with the soils today, right? So according to you, and this is another question for the chat, what percentage of human food depends directly on soils? Sorry, I will let you put your guess in the chat. What do you think, Yannick?
I unmute myself now. We have 95%, 80, 98, 80, 70, 75, 85, and 99.
Wow, 99. That's someone who really likes soil. Someone who's really pushing to have a, well, the common figure is actually 95%, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization. So there's just one small fraction of human food that is not directly soil based. So working on soil is essential to ensure the production of human food, right? People in general will tell you 30%, 40%, but it's actually super, super high, which encourages us to better treat soil, right? Next question, nitrous oxide, a gas emitted after the application of nitrogen fertilizers, is a greenhouse gas that is how many times more warming than CO2? According to you. So how many times is nitrous oxide more warming than CO2? How many times is it depleting the ozone layer and, well, not the ozone layer, the atmosphere more than CO2?
We have the first answer with 30.
So this is important because most of the fertilizers that are used in agriculture today contain this gas. Well, once the fertilizers are put on the ground, it releases this gas, right? So every time there are farming practices, this gas is released into the atmosphere. And this is the answer. It's 260 times more warming than CO2, which is quite a lot, right? So the more we use nitrogen fertilizers, the more we will contribute to greenhouse gas emissions and then to global warming. Also, a reason to better treat soil and rethink the way we do farming, right? Another question, how much time is required to form 1 centimeter of soil? Just 1 centimeter of soil. So here you have a photo of, I would guess, 1.5 meters, 2 meters. Imagine 1 centimeter of soil. How much time is required to form it?
The first guess is 100 years. Another 100.
So it depends, of course, of the composition of the soil, right? But it's at least 100 years. So a very common phenomenon that you all know, that you have all heard about, which is erosion, has a super big impact on our food security, right? Because we just saw that soil is super important for the creation of, for being able to have human food. If there is erosion, so if the soil disappears, there is a direct threat to our food security. Hence the importance of having good farming practices, right? And preventing erosion. So that's just to give you a super quick hindsight of our workshop, of our serious game, so the Living Soils workshop. It's a 2.5 hours long workshop that is based on these very pretty cards that talk about the phenomenon and the interaction between them and farming practices, and also about the solutions. So what can we do about farming practices, and how can we ensure there is a coherent way of treating soil? Okay. This is us. So a very small non-for-profit, as I was saying. We are currently 2 employees in the organization, but we have a very comprehensive web of volunteers around us. We were created in 2021, and our core mission is really to disseminate knowledge. And to create methodologies to give people, this urge to do something about soil and to learn more about soil. We do this with a really wide range of audiences. We have done it in universities, in labs, within municipalities, in private companies. Next month, for example, we will go to a vineyard here in France, because everyone is involved in soil, right? The soil topic is important for everyone, right? And we collaborate a lot with researchers and soil practitioners. So if you are one of these people, which I guess you can be, don't hesitate to reach out to us to create partnerships, to participate in events together, to just have an interesting conversation. I was saying, so our main tool is the Living Soils Workshop, but we have also created other formats which are interesting, and they can be shorter also. I was telling you that this workshop is 2.5 hours long, but we also have like conferences which can be like 1 hour long, and that are also very good material for soil literacy. We have translated the workshop in 8 different languages, and some others are coming in Portuguese, in Polish, in Spanish, in French, in Chinese, Japanese, German. So I won't give you all the languages, but everything is possible. If we create a partnership, it is possible to have another language coming up. That's my last slide. Sorry, I thought I had another one. So yeah, super happy to continue this conversation. Maybe I will give you this so you can have our Instagram page, our LinkedIn, and our website. And yeah, happy to answer any questions.
Thanks a lot for the presentation, first of all. And I think we can give it a few seconds. So feel free to raise your hand or just speak up. Otherwise, I can start with my first question, or with my question as first question, which would be like, with what kind of target groups have you worked so far the most, and what did you focus on also developing the card game?
Well, we are currently implementing an Erasmus project that specifically targets young audiences, so people below 30 years old. We're trying to promote soil literacy in schools, in universities, and so just for the young general public. So that's one of the audiences we have worked with, but we really want to work with farmers as well. And we have worked a lot with municipalities. Yeah. And your second question about the cards, can you please?
Well, it was related to the cards. I thought like the card game is also then used as part of the workshop, and then I understood now that you work with youth mainly, but also with adults now, trying also to focus more on farmers to be engaged via those card games. Did I understand?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the cards are used in the workshop.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
And it can be done online as well. It is a in-person workshop, but we can do it online as well. Are there any other questions?
There's one question in the chat. Let me see. Are these cards and materials available for free?
Well, if you do the workshop, we could be able to send you the PDF of the cards. We would have to discuss, but in any case, there is no fee in yeah, when we run the workshop, depending on the audience, of course. But there are on our webpage, you will see all the trainings available for the general public. So yeah, don't hesitate to go to our website and check the next trainings, even online or in France, for example, in other countries.
Okay. Doesn't look like at the moment that there's a further question, but I think with the contact details shared, everyone can feel free to reach out to you, also to follow up on ideas or other questions.
Thank you.
Then thanks a lot, Juliana, for the presentation. Very interesting approach, and also nice to learn more about the Living Soils workshop. Thanks a lot for that.
Thank you.
And then we are moving on to the next part. I'm going to share my screen, which will be on Curious Soil, or from Curious Soil, and from Javier, introducing the Soil Curiosity Kit. And then handing over to Javier while I will start sharing my screen.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. So my name is Javier. I'm joining you from north of Granada. That's the background. Okay, so thank you very much for this chance. So Curious Soil is the second soil literacy project funded in the Mission Soil after LOS or LOES. and then one of the main results is the soil curiosity kit, which was quite relevant for this exhibition. Next slide, please. So these are the basics about Curious Soil. You can also check out our website, check Cordis. We are coordinated at the University of Aveiro, and I'm working with Gaia Education, which is a small organization related to the Eco Village movement, but dedicated to online education, mostly non-formal, working also with educators, with teachers, and all the field of education for sustainability and community. Next slide, please. This is a bit the work package structure from the project. I mean, the important thing is like we want to do a soil literacy assessment framework and prototype, because if you remember, the Mission Soil has an objective to increase soil literacy in Europe, but there's no baseline and there's also no method to measure it. So we're trying to solve that. Also, we are focusing on education, on integrating soil content in formal and non-formal education. So a big part of the project goes into engaging educators and preparing programs, MOOCs, etc., for schools and universities, also vocational training. Work Package 3, which is the one having as main result the Soil Curiosity Kit, is addressing more like non-formal education and joining with artistic elements, multisensorial, etc. We also have another work package for policy. Work Package 5 is creating the communities of practice, which are very important and support. They are working very well and supporting all the other parts of the project. And then, of course, communication, dissemination and exploitation, and project management. Next slide, please. So what we are doing now This is the processes that are already ongoing is the soil literacy assessment taking place in schools. It has taken quite a long time. It has been more complicated to get ethical approval for all the different countries and stuff like this, but finally it's in place and starting till June. And then there are also national workshops which are focused on policy recommendation or assessments of the different policy needs in educational systems, and they're organized together with the communities of practice. Then this year, after the summer, there will be lots of events and happening. There will be the launch of the online courses, one for primary and secondary teachers, and the other one more for university students and teachers. Kind of two levels. We will go to the solo conference, like probably quite some of you. And we will host a side event on the second day on the Botanic Garden with different activities. Then we will also have an interactive exhibition, which is coming from the first Artathon that we did last year, and the opening will be in September in Wageningen. And then there will be the second edition of the hackathon and Artathon probably in October in Portugal, in Aveiro, in the Fábrica de Ciencias Vivas. And this will be more focused on prototyping the Soil Curiosity Kit and the Soil Curiosity book activities. So next slide. So what is the Soil Curiosity Kit? This is a sample of my toys. It's still not not the real thing, but this is things that you can right now find commercially. So the important thing is to include the Soil Curiosity Kit is gathering a lot of these Work Package 3 results. So first with these multisensorial multimedia resources, that a lot of them they're already online. We have sounds from the soil, we have videos, we have different graphics. All except the videos are available also to be adapted. And for example, members of the communities of practice they're using them for their presentations. And then all the events that I was explaining. Next slide. Then there's kind of another central piece or central document is the Soil Curiosity book of activities. It's just like some kind of handbook or guide, very practical and focused on activities for groups between 3, 4 to 30 people. Important that you just need materials which are affordable and available like easily, and that you don't need a specific technical skills or abilities. So it's very broad. It's focused on non-formal education, free time, also groups of friends, families. But some of the activities they can also be used for the classroom, of course. And there's these 5 types: observation, exercises, and experiments. This is what would be more related to scientific work and citizen science. Then games and toys, including serious games like the one we have seen from the Living Soil. Crafts and arts, like here one very successful workshop was painting with commercially available pigments, which are actually taken from soils and minerals. Then movement, dance, performance, and theater. That's also quite broad. And then finally, stories, debates, and literary exercises, like more focus on words and terms and language. Next slide, please. So the idea is to create the activities first by getting proposals, and then by piloting them in all these events, including the solo conference, the hackathon, and the artathons. And actually, if you have a great idea or a great proposal, doesn't if it's great if it's already tested or if something that you would like to happen, the co-creation form is still available. And yeah, this is from another workshop, like working also with clay and pigments, which of course it's very at the core of artistic practice in many cultures. Next slide, please. So this was my presentation. I tried to keep it short. You have there my contact, and then Instagram and LinkedIn. We don't have Twitter. That was one of the first projects that we gave it up. And next slide, there were some like inspiration for questions or key messages. This is some of the issues we have found when thinking about soil knowledge and soil literacy, like even within our own consortium or with the communities of practice. So one challenge is how to communicate that soil knowledge is older than agriculture and goes beyond. And this is quite crucial for soil literacy, because otherwise one barrier to soil literacy is like, oh, soil is just about agriculture. And even in scientific literature, you find that that it's assumed that soil knowledge starts with the practice of agriculture around the Neolithic. And this is like, so humans are terrestrial animals. So, and before the Neolithic, they didn't do anything with soil. They didn't look for food in the soil. They didn't bury their dead on the soil. They didn't use pigments for the soil. They didn't dig dwellings in the soil. They didn't use soil. They didn't use clay. It's kind of a big like gap or bias. Then related with this, also how to acknowledge the role of non-scientific knowledge without fueling anti-science narrative, which is also quite a challenge, because right now science, well, the most visible one is climate science, is often under attack. And then also when dealing with soil, and and also having this multidisciplinary approach, then we soon find politics, economics. So these soil-related injustices and oppression, and also the scale of soil degradation without giving up soil optimism and falling into doom. I mean, the now intensified genocide by the state of Israel on the Palestinian people in Gaza and other places, it's also very, very much related to the soil and the soil use. I think we all know, like, for example, like I think now in Cisjordania, like in the occupied territories, like destroying houses, but also destroying olive trees, or also preventing Palestinian landowners to take care of their olive groves. So this is one like especially bleeding example. So that's it so far. And if there's time, I would be happy to answer your questions if you have any. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Very interesting. Let me see. So feel free to raise your hand or to write in the chat if there are any follow-up questions.
Yeah. You want?
I mean, to everyone, sorry, not for you. Luca, you have a question, yes?
Yes. So thank you very much, Javier, for the presentation. I'm wondering from, so you have a very holistic perspective on how you try to incite curiosity in soil and spread knowledge around soil. And I'm wondering about the long-term perspective. So how do you get people interested in soil beyond the workshop, so that they might, take something with them at home or to work, or spread the knowledge to other parts of the society?
That's a bit the idea of the soil curiosity kit, because also these projects, they finish. I mean, one good thing is to be like altogether the mission soil will continue, but this is the idea, like to have these multimedia resources available, and also this description of activities that people can do at home. So it's kind of do it yourself. And then also from these events and workshops also create a kind of culture or practice that maybe it becomes more useful to see this kind of workshops or these kinds of activities in scientific conference. And in our project, of course, one of the biggest priorities is schools and schools education. In this term, like one of the biggest limiting factor is like schools and school teachers in many regions and many countries, like they're already really stressed, they're lacking budget. The groups the groups of children, they are too big, and they are lacking other infrastructure. So it's really difficult to bring another, and even and also in, how do you call it, especially in secondary already, the subjects is too much. So it's a bit of a scarcity landscape. So then the idea is like to try to find smart ways to introduce soil, or to highlight how soil is there, because soil is already there. It's everywhere, like in history, politics, arts, and it's like propose activities or propose pieces of knowledge, examples that can be integrated in the existing program. Rather than create a different one. Of course, for university and vocational training is different, because there you can create a whole new programs or programs which are more focused on soil and science, communication, etc.
There's one more question, Calvini.
Yes, thank you so much for this presentation. Very interesting. Maybe it's a bit out of scope of the entire session, but appreciate so much the connection that you made to what's happening right now in Palestine and Cisjordania, since it's not only a genocide, but it's for sure also a ecocide. And I'm wondering, to keep deeper in this discussion, for sure there will be some international law and also protect the soil health and environment in this land. If we are aware of any mechanism, then also we can activate in order to recognize as well also this damage and to try to stop what's happening also from an environmental point of view.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Is there that's an interesting comment, but is there a specific question?
Yeah, if we are aware of any mechanism that we can activate, or if there is already in place to also try to stop what is happening and to recognize the damage that from an environmental point of view, not only from human rights, that for sure is quite important, what's happened in the recognition of the genocide, but also to emphasize as well also the environmental damage that it's happening right now in that land.
Well, that's a bit beyond my scope and expertise, but it's an interesting point for the soil mission or for all projects. For me, at least on these soil literacy levels, is at least to create this connection and the awareness. Because another case is Ukraine. Like the best agricultural soils of Europe are now being bombed and polluted, and many so it's also to connect economics and politics with soil, and how also soil often shapes empires, wars, agreements, cultures. This is on one level. Then on the practical level, I mean, it's of course don't vote for political parties who are who don't take care of the environment, including soil, and also don't support companies or banks, etc. This is of course on the basic ethics.
I think
But yeah, it would be really interesting, maybe for another session or for a joint event, to go a bit deeper on these topics, which are
Ethic
difficult to
behavior for
It's
protect
kind
the
of
soil.
unfortunately running out now a little bit. We are already over time. Britta, I'm not sure if it's critical. Otherwise,
Just want to highlight the question in the chat and
Yeah,
enlarge it
I
maybe a bit, Javi, if you could, while the next presentation is on, put the most relevant links also in the chat, also to the other materials, because I think they would be interesting for some of the iCOSHELLs partners.
yeah,
Well,
and
you can find everything, the link in my presentation with the Soil Curiosity Ticket, and I will share it right now as soon as I get out of full screen.
awesome. Thanks a lot. And Galvini and Javi feel also invited to follow up after the session, the discussion. I think it's a very important topic for sure. Unfortunately, we will need to move on now to also give enough time for all other presenters. But also happy to provide this in the minutes afterwards as well. And then we are also looking forward to the links. I will stop share my screen now so that you, Javi, will also be able to follow up. And then we can go to the next session and to the next part, which is our third introduction or third session today from Titiana on best practices from the Soilscape project. I'm looking forward to the insights and handing over to you.
Hello, everyone. Could you share my presentation? That would be
yeah,
safe.
sure. Yeah. Okay. Then give me a
Yeah, because I had some technical problems today. I'm
voice.
in another institution.
Presentation is coming soon. Here we go.
Yeah. So once again, hello, everyone. I'm Tatiana, and I will present today some key insight from Soilscape best practices catalog. Soilscape is a Horizon Europe project that promotes soil literacy by combining soil science with artistic and cultural approach to engage society. So it brings together artists, scientists, educators, and communities to create some innovative activities so that it makes soil visible and meaningful and valued. Next slide, please. So again, the main idea is that soil literacy can be presented not only from the science, but also from creative approach. So catalog is created for artists, educators, policymakers, and other stakeholders. Next slide, please. So soil is essential for many functions like biodiversity, water regulation, climate resilience. However, soil often remains invisible to the public. Many people depend on soil every day without real thinking of it. So this is why soil literacy is important, and it's not about only transferring information, but about helping people to understand soil as a living and valuable system. And the Soilscape catalog responds to this by offering a practical tool for artists, educators, civil society organizations, policymakers, and funders. So it aims to help scale creative soil literacy initiatives and strengthen societal capacity for sustainable soil management. Next, please. So Soilscape catalog brings together at least 28 initiatives because like 28 is the best described, and we have a set of other initiatives that promote soil literacy through artistic approach. And it includes different kind of formats, from festivals to like citizen science and workshops. And the purpose is not just document good examples, but to offer practical inspiration for those who want to design soil-related activities as in their own context. Next slide, please. So one of the strongest message that the catalog brings is that soil literacy becomes more effective and it's like experiential. People connect more deeply with soil when they can see this soil, touch this, or hear stories about it, and actively participate there. So this means that creative methods are not secondary; they are often central to make some soil more available for wider publics. Next slide. I'll present you some examples from the catalog. Biomarsh Switzerland, like example in Switzerland, it's a good one to show how soil literacy can be embedded in a broader sustainable settings. So it's a large organic festival with around 40,000 visitors. Even so, soil is not presented here as a core topic. The event promotes organic production system that depends on healthy soil. This is important because it shows that soil literacy can also be communicated indirectly, so through food, sustainability, and like some interaction. So this example works well because it connects soil to everyday life. Visitors may come for food, lifestyle, entertainment, but they are also exposed to messages related to sustainable and soil-friendly production. The atmosphere is like here is positive, and lesson here is like soil doesn't always need to be introduced in the technical way. It can be approached through things that people value. Next slide, please. Earth as Superfood is a very different type of example. It was an artistic exhibition that explored human relations with soil through a theme of geography, or the consumption of earth in different cultural contexts. So that's it made people stop, reflect, and question assumptions. It used sensory and conceptual experience to engage people, and also it combined art, science, and cultural reflections. This example is effective because it creates curiosity and emotional resonance. So that's rather than exploring soil in the conventional educations, it invites people to experience soil differently. So that shifts in framing is very valuable. So we can go to the next example. This initiative from Latvia involved school students in citizen sciences, and it was related to soil and grassland ecosystems. And participants carry out practical tasks and contributed to real data collection. So this is a strong model because it combines and education and participation and scientific relevance. And instead of just only receiving information, students become like a part of knowledge process. That was based on active participation and include young audience. Next slide, please. This is annual festival in Portugal, and it's a large-scale public event that combined and art and nature and sustainability, and include workshops, performance, exhibition, and other activities that create engagement through environmental topics. and included also soil-related themes. This example shows how large cultural events can create broad public visibility and conversations. And yeah, the next one, please. So what are the main lessons? So when looking across the catalog, several common features appears. Successful initiatives are participatory. They are from school gardens and citizen science to festivals, installations, and science art collaborations. Many of them are like cost or like low or medium cost, and it's creates strong public interest. So that's still emotional resonance, have this emotional resonance, like with real participating of citizens and involving different types of stakeholders. Next one, please. Yeah, so finally, the effectiveness depends less on specific topics. So it's like the key barrier here includes like limiting funding. So it could be still like low cost, institutional backing and evaluation capacity. So, but these opportunities that we want, for example, create in Soilscape, just to bring science and art together, and then can create new projects and new formats to cooperate. Next slide. So successful initiatives that they align some skills, framing, inclusions, and other like local context. And these aspects are captured in what we call leverage points. And this is experience, connection, and cultural meaning to maximize the impact. And next one. So to conclude, soil literacy is not only about the providing information, it's about experience, connections, and engagement. And this catalog gives some inspiration for people who want to make some events. Thank you so much. This is the connection that if someone wants to keep in touch. And just one sentence from my side for the previous speech. I'm from Ukraine, and we really involved in the soil analysis in contamination. And if someone wants to know some information, I'm happy to share with you, because we had other projects about this evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and great to hear that we have already a connection now. So feel free to reach out, I'd say, and potentially it even makes more sense now to have a follow-up meeting. I would be interested into the best practice catalog. One question from my side. There's so far only a comment in the chat about the best practice catalog. Can I imagine it also that there are step-by-step guidance on how to reproduce it? Or is it rather like from an inspirational perspective that I have a catalog overview and then I do the steps myself somewhat?
So the catalog was like part of the deliverable for the Soilscape project, and we there was a methodology how to collect these practices, and we have this not the instruction, not the manual how to do this, but there's like examples of different inspiration. So some events are really like with a high cost, and some, for example, there was like talking benches when people just sit on the bench with some scientists, and they can talk about soil, they can ask questions, and there's that's no cost for that. And it could be some workshops like soil collage or like informal science, like pint of science, where people just that was interesting that people come to some cafe, order drinks, and just chat about soil, how they take some scientists and some art people. And in Soils Camp we had inner call, and we had like twins of art people and science people, and then they created some really interesting approaches, like game about like kind of Minecraft, but about soil. So how they combine this block of soils and what could be grown there, and it's really fun. Or like we had an example of in Agroscope in Switzerland, they already attract attention of public by digging some underwear into the soil, and then living organisms consume this, and it's like really like with holes. And so they do this annually, like to show, like to attract attention of the publicity. But they connected to one artist who sew dresses from this used underwear, and it's like this dress looks amazing, like a wedding one, but like with this holes consumed. So, and we want to involve them into some festivals to make an exhibition to attract the attention.
Very interesting. Thanks a lot for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, it looks like there's no further questions for now. Otherwise, last chance to address now. Otherwise, I think you have seen the email address here for a long time now, so feel free to reach out to Titiana, and thanks a lot for the presentation. With that, we coming to the last speaker slot, which is about creative probes for online remote soil literacy activities. And for that, handing over to Haley and Eilina as well. I think you too. Yeah, you too.
Yes, thank you very much, Yannick. I think Haley will share the
Shall I share
slides.
screen? Am I
Or
sharing screen? Okay, I can share screen. Let's see. Can you see my screen now? Yes.
yes.
Good. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Haley Ho, and I'm here, as you can see, with my colleague Alina Ostling, and we're going to give you a quick insight into the creative probes that we have been developing for fostering soil literacy in this iCOSHELLs project. We are researchers from RISE, and this is ongoing work that we have been doing together, along with another colleague, Fanny Linth.
Yes, and that's me on the second slide. So we have been addressing the challenge of what we perceive that soil is seen more as a technical or an abstract element. And it's kind of disconnected from the everyday practices of people and also of experts that work with soil or farmers, because they see it more in a technical or a resource efficiency way. It can be hard to engage diverse stakeholders. So we have chosen to use the more than human perspective and easy, simple lo-fi probes. And our aim is to make soil more tangible and relatable to people, and to kind of motivate discussion around soil through different probes.
And what we mean by our more than human perspective is that we would like to recognize that humans are not separate from nature, but that we exist as part of a very complex ecosystem of relationships with other living and non-living beings. So rather than viewing soil as just a resource, we view it as a dynamic living entity. And this dynamic living entity that we would like to coexist with, so that we can appreciate the importance of its health in building our sustainable ecosystems. So in our probes, we invite soil into the dialogues as a stakeholder with needs and with rights.
Yes, and our probes are lo-fi. It means that they are also quite minimal. There are no specialized tools that you need to use, and no special expertise is needed. They are aimed to encourage reflection and dialogue and are kind of open-ended. You don't know what you have as a result at the end of the exercise. And we work in different contexts, or like with different formats, like workshops. You can do it in schools, in classrooms, as public events, or as part of living labs. That's what we do in iCOSHELLs. And we have created some templates with the prompts and the observation exercise. And they are supposed to be flexible and inclusive and accessible. So we have 4 different probes. They can be either used as standalone activities or be part of a complete workshop. We will present them more in detail in the coming slides, but the first one is the local soil, and it's about a more personal and sensory experience of soil. Then we have community soil, where we talk about shared values and principle for soil health and soil protection. We have the system soil perspectives, where we looked at a broader picture, maybe historical and more system perspective. And then we have finally the soil walks, which are sensory and embodied experience.
Mm-hmm. And the soil walk, this is a probe to sensitize the participants to soil as a living entity. And we actually adapted this probe from Rosanne's work on design probes for more than human design. And we took from this what we considered to be good entry point questions to trigger discussions about soil values, their interactive capabilities, their needs, and their senses. We created, as you can see here, some simple worksheets that can either be printed to be used in person, but we also started to work on this Miro template that can be used online for remote participation. And the way you answer these questions are actually very simple. You just either put a dot or an object on a scale, or you check tick boxes. But when you look into the questions, they're a bit more involved. And they're a little bit more tricky to answer. And there's not necessarily a right or wrong answer, but it's more to like switch your mindset to see how you relate to soil. So one example is, for example, like on a scale of high to low or low to high, we ask like, what value does soil have to other organisms? And an example for the checkbox exercise, I think we asked like, what other sensory capabilities do we think that soil, like we imagine that soil has, that is beyond human. So you can say like detecting gravity or polarized vision. Some abstract ideas also there, but it's just food for thought.
Yeah, then we have community soil. And there we took inspiration from the EU Mission Soil Manifesto. So the idea is that you can adapt this soil manifesto locally, so the participants can create their own manifesto with values and principles for their local soil. And we have templates there as well that are basis for discussions. They are either printable PDFs, and you can use pens and post-its to do the exercise, or you could also use a Miro board or any other tool that permits you to do it online as a guided exercise.
Mm-hmm. And system soil, this probe is to view soil from like a systemic perspective, as it says in the title. It's a method that was actually adapted from another project called SIMBY, Sun in My Backyard, where actually myself and Fanny developed participatory workshops, storytelling, and speculative design methods to explore people's relations with solar energy and the landscapes around it. And it was actually various insights from this project that informed the design of the creative probes in this project. But coming back to this project, Systems Soil situates soil in a broader socio-ecological context. So we touch upon like climate justice, historical land use, power, and indigenous knowledge. Some things mentioned already in today's session. It's a very short video that just introduces these themes, which is then followed on by a discussion in small groups before then, like these small groups are brought together for a reflection session. The setup is very simple, and the video, it sort of is brief, but it's more as a probe to initiate some intrigue, to explore what various systemic influences there can be in relation to soil.
Yeah, and then we have soil walks. Also here we took inspiration from similar exercises like the mineral walks by Swedish researcher Petra Lilja. Here we kind of make the connection and discuss soil from more than human perspective by walking. That allows you to have a more sensorial experience of the local soil. Very much like Tatiana was saying, that the touch and hear and sense is very important, maybe like the key thing when you want to connect to soil. Yeah, and then for that we have also developed instructions. It's a simple Excel sheet, for example, mapping what the walk will look like, and you can do it together with participants, or the facilitator can draw up a map. You have like walking instructions and where you are supposed to stop, things like practical things like that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, what we've just introduced to you are some of these lo-fi creative probes that, I mean, all of them have been designed for like this time managed facilitated context. So it's like an organized start and an organized end. So actually our next step within the iCOSHELLs project will be to think about how to adapt them for pop-up contexts. So rather than having participants that have pre-agreed to participate, you need to entice people to come to participate and then somehow hold their attention for long enough. And they can be quite informal settings, which have much more diverse audiences. So they need to work in this and also they need to work in this drop-in, drop-out way. We haven't developed them yet, but we have an event coming up in Sweden that we will be part of, the Brunnby Agriculture Fair. So I guess those will have to be done by then.
Yeah, and this is our final slide for with questions for discussions. We would be interested to know if you could imagine to try out these probes in your context, and what kind of challenges would you see with the implementation of these probes? And maybe also you have I mean, we already seen some other examples of lo-fi probes today, but maybe you want to mention some of those. And we would be interested to know if and how you use your materials to prepare materials for pop-up exhibitions or pop-up events. But maybe that's also something that we will discuss later today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you also from my side. So let's see if we have any comments regarding the questions.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello from Italy, Andrea Bortolotti. I'm also partner with some colleagues of iCOSHELL project, and we are managing one of the experimental sites of the Italian Living Labs, which is indeed a space of the, let's say it's called an off campus, which is a site of the university in Milano, which is used for deductive activities and action research. And we are conducting tests on soil literacy now, engaging students and also stakeholders from the area, which are concerned by the soil health. Normally our association working with like urban farmers and other activities related to growing and managing peri-urban agricultural areas, just to provide a... And we are now conducting a test in building a soil demonstrator. So we want to engage people in co-design and co-construct. We don't know yet what it will look like. It could be a soil monolith, so the most common display of soil, or also an experimenter, so a soil container in which we could invite scientists from the university to conduct hydraulic tests or measurements about several chemical aspects of the soil, but on a very low tech and let's say experimental way, without investing many, let's say, having a laboratory on site, which is not a classic laboratory. So I was very much interested about, I would like to speak with you more about those. I understand better what do you mean by probes, which is not, I didn't completely understand the meaning of the probe, and the lo-fi also. So the concept behind the several experiments that you have presented. I would like to know more about that and see if one day maybe there could be also some collaboration. Why not within the iCOSHELL project and this soil literacy campaign we are also conducting in Italy.
Yeah, let's talk about it. That would be exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess with probes we mean like tools or instruments or something that probes discussion and prompts discussion and dialogue and engagement. And low tech, maybe your question was also about lo-fi or low tech. It means that it's easily used materials and they don't need any digital tools. No advanced tools, so you don't need to buy anything or you don't need to log into something, but you can carry them out easily with minimal technology.
And I mean, I think also we sort of go for this lo-fi thing because it means that it can be very easy to adapt. So it's a bit less precious. So we can try something out. So if, say, your context in Italy requires something a bit different, we can try it out quickly. And if it doesn't work, you can just change it. Like, not so much is invested in producing something polished. So you can iterate it easily or like change it for another context.
Yeah, also coming from my side, I think this actually connects perfectly with what we have planned after the break now with the co-creation and deep dive. So there we have also 3 different groups, and the first one and the first scenario is actually also the Bunbury Fair as a setting, so that you can co-create in a group together on this. But more about this also after the session, after the break then. There will be 1 hour co-creation session coming up then in group works, and you can choose on the most relevant topic for you. So there's actually an interesting and beneficial part for everyone involved. So I do not want to miss out on start sharing my screen again so that you can at least see this cat. So you will have 5 minutes now break briefly to breathe and to refresh, maybe bio break. And then we come back with a short quiz so that we can be activated for our follow-up on the co-creation about exactly what we stopped talking about now with the pop-up events, and then on 3 different event types. So we're looking forward to see you at 13:26 then back here.